All right. Okay. Sure you guys got a lot of questions, so let's go ahead and fire away.
Dennis, getting Tyron back first, what does it mean to have him back, and what kind of spirits does he seem to be in?
Yeah, look, I love having him back. It was great to see him last night. Got in last night. Had a chance to visit with him at the hotel. Seems to be in really good spirits. He's anxious to kind of get back here and get started. We'll go through a little bit of a ramp-up period with him, kind of let him get his feet up under him. But, man, to have a player of his, decorated ability back in the building is a positive.
Is what he missed problematic, would you say, at this point, or not?
I wouldn't say so. He's a veteran player. When you really want to talk about what we're doing defensively from a schematic standpoint, it's not a lot different than what you're going to see in a lot of the other teams. Really, it gets more down to just terminology and just some of the minor little adjustments that we might make. So I feel like he'll get back in the swing of things there, and it won't take long. It's more about just getting him ready for football conditioning.
DA, obviously you want practice to be spirited, competitive, but when it goes a little bit too far, do you have to kind of?
Yeah, we don't have time for that. And so, I sent 2 guys in today, and we got to get our work done. So we got to learn as a team how to compete and how to play and how to practice, all right, and push ourselves to the limit, but yet not take it over the edge.
Is that conversation you're going to have to talk to with Trevor, because he's been involved?
It's gonna happen with everybody. It happened with the team out here. It'll happen with those 2 players. Sometime between now and the next practice.
Mike Thomas getting a little more work today?
It was awesome. It was awesome. Seeing him, get a few routes. Actually go up against a defender. I thought he looked good in the plays that he got. I was excited about seeing that. And I think it's another step in the right direction.
Is he the kind of guy you have to hold back? Is he wanted to be doing more of those?
Well, here's what I would say is we've had a lot of communication with Mike, and we've kind of, with his input, we've kind of laid out a plan of what we want to do and how we want to go about getting him ready, and Mike's been totally on board with the plan, and so I think with Mike is when you explain to him what you're looking for, and he feels like you're listening to what he has to say. I think he responds well to that, and he's been outstanding.
I'm sorry, would it be right to say maybe that he could do more, but you're just being extra careful?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily go there. Look, I think he's in a good spot. I think we want to continue to ramp him up. There's a process that this goes through, and at some point before we get to the regular season, we're going to see him in full speed team activities. We have a plan for how that's going to go. Obviously, we have to monitor how he's feeling as we go through that plan, but I feel good about where he's at and the progress that he's made.
Dennis, can you say any reason why Ramczyk's not getting a lot of teamwork right now?
Yeah, it's just more of trying to a little bit more of a maintenance plan. We've got a few of those guys that we've got a little bit of a plan with that we're trying to limit some of the snaps that they're getting, but I feel good about where he's at and what he's doing when he's out here. So it's all part of the plan.
Coach, non-X's and O's question over the Weather Channel. Explain some of the strategy with the guys practicing indoors versus outside versus outdoors. I noticed you balanced that throughout the training camp schedule. Just talk about the impact that has on some of the guys.
Well, number one, you guys are the reason why we came in yesterday, because of the weather. So that's why we came in yesterday. Our plans were to be outside. And our plans are to be outside the rest of the week, depending on what the weather is. And so, I think there's an element to getting out in the environment and having to push yourself through the heat, because it's a challenge. But there's also something to having guys being able to recover and being able to get them freshened up and kind of protect them a little bit. So it's all kind of a balancing act. We'll see where we go. If you guys can hold the weather off for us tomorrow, we'll be back outside.
blaming us for the weather. With Trevor a couple of days ago, you said that his feistiness wasn't really a problem. What was it, could you say, that changed today?
Probably that we're, you know, in about the third day a row in practice, and people begin to get a little bit tired, and things get a little bit more chippy. It's not unusual for something like that to occur in a training camp. Certainly something that we don't want to see happen, and it'll be addressed, and we'll move forward.
Dennis, how do y'all decide, because the competition, obviously behind Alvin at running back, the reps or the touches, like for instance the first preseason game against the Texans, whether it's Abram Smith, Tony Jones Jr., Malcolm Brown, you know, Zigbo, whatever. How do y'all decide, okay, this is your game, or because you're only playing preseason games, but how do you decide a quarter or what?
Well, yeah. So look, again, it's all part of the process. We'll sit down as a staff, and we'll talk about, you know, who we want to see, how much we want to see. There's a lot that really goes into it, you know, in terms of making those decisions. But it's really kind of a, you know, I'd say kind of an organizational or coaching staff decision that we sit down and communicate with that a lot, and figure out how we want to address that.
Any updates on Smoke Monday?
No updates. He's got a significant knee injury, so that's all I'll say on that.
Dennis, a week into camp, is the competition and intensity level where you want it to be?
I like where it's at. I really do. Again, look, we took it over the top a little bit today, but our guys are out here competing, you know, extremely hard, and it's been fairly clean, you know, in terms of the execution. There's certainly still a lot of things that we got to clean up and we got to fix, but I'm pleased with what I've seen so far. But look, we got a long way to go.
Mario was saying the other day that the team was like happy with some of the momentum they had at the end of last year, but there's no momentum from year to year. You have to kind of build it up from scratch. How do you kind of view that with each individual team?
Look, same way. You know, I mean, you start every season 0-0, so there is no momentum. You know, in this 2022 team will be based on what we do during the season, and so all we can do is focus on the here and now and what we can do to get better, and all the results kind of take care of themselves, and last year was last year.
Coach, progress of Paul Brandis in the defensive end.
Well, I think it's been pretty good. He's bigger and stronger than he's been. I think that's been a good thing for him. I think he's had a pretty nice camp. He's a guy that you know, I think has a chance to maybe take the next step. And I think probably, you know, he's always been a pretty good rusher, but I think I've seen a little bit more in terms of, you know, stoutness and run defense in this camp, and I think that's, you know, benefits him, but it's going to benefit us too.
He used to say, in his own humble opinion, that he runs like a gazelle. Carl, do you agree? Do you agree?
I think I'm gonna leave that to him and to you to figure that out. All good? Okay, guys, thanks.
Coach,
All right.
PA.
How you doing, Chris?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
We've seen you have some spectacular days. Do you feel like you're stacking those days the way you want to continue to stack and build?
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm getting better by day. I feel like I could be a lot better throughout the day, so I got to keep going. I got to hold myself to a higher standard, so when I feel like I could do better, I'm going to raise that level. So.
When you say a lot better, what areas would you be looking to be a lot better in?
Just getting better at the line, especially in physical coverage. When I got bigger corners on me, I feel like I could be a lot better in those situations. So going up against guys like Devo and Bradley Roby and Lattimore is going to help me a lot throughout these practices.
So is that a technique thing where you want to make sure you keep the hands off and that kind of thing?
Oh yeah, just playing a lot quicker, playing on my speed, using my speed to an advantage. I feel like that really threatens the defense. So I feel like playing through that by every play, I feel like that's going to be huge for me.
Chris, describe the physicality. It seems like it went up about 8 notches on the one-on-one drills beginning Monday. Describe that. Is that maybe more than you were used to in college, or is this something you sort of expect?
No, I'm good. I'm used to it. I went against corners out of Ohio State that were really big. So and Jeff Okuda and Damon Arnett, a lot of different guys. So I'm used to it. But going up against newer guys, especially for the Saints, just trying to get a feel for them. Monday I wasn't really good at one-on-ones, but come back today and did a lot better.
I'm sorry.
Because it seems like you do like a really good job on Jameson scrambling and kind of keeping yourself friendly. Like, what are you watching on those plays, and like how do you kind of what are you looking at when you're doing that?
I'm just playing ball, man. That's the end of the day. I'm trying to get the ball, make it easier for him to see me, and I feel like when I see him and he make eye contact with me, I feel like it's an easy throw at the end of the day.
What's it been like working with Michael Thomas, a guy who obviously with Ohio State too?
He's one of the best in the game, man. He's been that for years. You can see it through the stats, through his work ethic. I can see why he's at the top of the game. So just following behind him as a rookie going into the league, it's going to separate me in years to come. So.
Where are you at in terms of learning the system, terminologies? Have you adjusted well to that?
I'm good. I'm good with the playbook and the terminology. Asking a lot of questions as it's new to me, but I feel like a freshman going into college trying to learn the playbook. But I feel like that's one thing I want to get down. I want to not be on the field because of playbook, so I want to definitely learn the playbook like the back of my hand.
Chris, it seems like you and Paulson Adebo have already had a few nice battles. Talk about his game, maybe what you like about what he does.
Oh, he's a great player. I respect his game. He's a competitor too, just like me. So we go back and forth, and at the end of the day, that just makes us better. But I respect his game. He's long, fast, and physical. So I definitely want to see him play throughout the year.
What's been the biggest adjustment for you now that you had like kind of a week of training camp under your belt, and you're going from college camp to pro camp?
Just little things. Take care of your body. We'll be here all day, so just getting in the training room and trying to get 1% better for the next day than better in the defense. I feel like that's the biggest thing for me.
Do you find getting separation considerably more difficult, or is it?
Not at all. I feel like that's my game. I get a lot of separation, and it's going to be tighter coverage, but I feel like I can make contested catches too. So I feel like I'm comfortable out here going against DBs, especially in one-on-ones today. I feel getting more comfortable, so I can't wait to put it on the film and go out there and play in game days.
What can you remember? And I asked about this because I asked Pete Warner yesterday if he remembered any particular memories of you at Ohio State. He said that there was a Michigan game that was kind of your debut game, really. What do you remember about your mindset going into that game and how that translated to the way you played?
It was just team first, really. I was always a team first guy. I always waited my turn. That was my freshman year. I was 18 years old, so probably the biggest rivalry in sports. I went out there just trying to make some plays, and one of our guys was down, one of our guys was hurt, so I ended up in a receiver rotation and ended up just making some plays on the ball was thrown to me.
I know it's at the end of the regular season, but still, that's quite a first game to be thrown into when you're 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did your mental approach balance out whatever nerves you might have had?
It was definitely nerves going into the game. I feel like that game was hyped all around Ohio State, all around Michigan. So I feel like it was a lot of nerves, but at the end of the day, it was just playing football. So I went out there and had some fun with my teammates, and we got the win at the end of the day.
Is that kind of a lesson that carries you forward into your pro career, or carried you throughout your college career? And when you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like it's gonna be nerves going into games, but I've been playing football my whole life, so at the end of the day, just take some deep breaths, and I've been there before, so just go out there and have fun and make some plays.
Chris James said you're pretty much a pro already. What's the demeanor that you feel like you have that leads him to that conclusion where you're a rookie, but you're already a veteran?
Just being out of Ohio State, I feel like they developed us that way. Being out of a program like Ohio State, I feel like it's a professional program ran by professional coaches. So when you go there, they prepare you for 3 to 4 years, and you go into the NFL prepared. So I feel like that's the biggest part at Ohio State, and I feel like I carry that on into the league.
Hey, Chris, one non-X's and O's question. We're at the Weather Channel. Something you may or may not have thought of: a rookie from Ohio State going into your first hurricane season. Just give me some of the emotion and thought. You're playing in a very hard-hit area, especially coming off of Ida a year ago. So I don't know if you thought about that, but if you wouldn't mind.
Oh yeah, I never thought about that, but until I got here, I never even seen a hurricane before, or thought of it. So just having an idea in the back of my head is different. I know a couple of my teammates told me about that, but I never seen one before, and I'm definitely not looking forward to it. It was really Mike Thomas. He's been like a big brother to me. I respect him, and I feel like he took me under his wing as soon as I got drafted. And I feel like just learning from him, seeing the work he puts in every day, and seeing everything he does on a daily basis, just makes me want to go harder and just make it to the top. And I feel like I've been doing that and just working hard every day, trying to get to that point.
So does he like give you restaurant recommendations, or have you been kind of laying low and not getting out to do that yet?
I ain't really had too much time, so I've really been inside. Yeah, I definitely want to tap into some restaurants and get out there and see.
Thanks, Chris.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
You missed this?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Was that? I should have looked this up before asking you, but is that the longest stretch you had missed in your career?
Yeah, I'd say definitely there. Longest stretch I missed.
How much are you enjoying this time of year more than you probably did in summers past, because you're eager to get back into it?
Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it, especially missing over half the season. You don't take it for granted, even training camp, which is tough, but I'm really definitely enjoying it and working hard to improve and get better.
And how do you feel? I mean, I know the injury has had plenty of time to heal, but just like physically, I mean, almost more spring in your step or anything after?
Oh yeah, I feel great. It's probably the best I felt going into camp, so I'm ready to go.
How different is it for you not having Teron beside you?
It's definitely different. Me and Teron had a pretty good chemistry, playing together for so long. But James and Trevor and all those guys are doing a great job of filling in and working hard out there.
What have been your early impressions of Trevor?
I think he's a talented player. He's got all the tools to be great. So I know it's tough as a rookie to come in and learn the playbook and everything. It's my experience. So I know he's working hard at that and making sure he's ready to go.
I know DA said he was going to have a conversation with him, obviously, but do teammates also, say hey, tamp it down a little bit and make sure you're on the field?
Yeah, definitely. You wanna have guys out there, playing and practicing. So, I mean, I didn't really see what happened, but
Is that part of your role, maybe, to talk to him about that? Like.
Yeah. I mean, if I see it, I'll say something. But he's got a lot of support, and he's doing a good job.
There was a couple of days ago, Dennis said his intensity wasn't over the top. Obviously, that changed today. Is that something that anybody has talked to him about at all that you know of, or for now it's been okay?
I'm not really sure if anyone else has talked to him about it. I haven't got a chance to.
Andres, is kind of early still, but thoughts and impressions having Jari Evans in the building with you guys?
Yeah, it's been great having Ja back. Got to play with him for 2 years, and he's back on the field coaching and helping us out, and really breaking down his point of view of the game when he played, so it's definitely been a big help, especially to the guards and interior players and tackles as well.
Has he commented to you anything interesting on how he's seen you evolve over the years, how you are now compared to when he remembered you as a teammate?
Nah, he really hasn't. Haven't really said anything.
You have evolved, though.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you feel like you have?
Just I say just the mental aspect of the game. Just being an older player, just knowing the nuances of the game, and just trying to add something to my game each year, and you can always improve.
So if Trevor winds up in fights, I mean, you're playing next to him, and you're gonna have to get in there.
I'll hop in there with him.
Probably not looking forward to that though. You do what it takes, right?
Yep.
And what are you sort of saying that Cesar Ruiz has developed?
Yeah, I think Caesar's done a great job. I've seen, he's probably, I say he might have made the most improvement out of anyone. So I think he's made huge strides. As far as his technique, his hands, punching, the timing of his hands, and getting in the right body position. So I'm really excited for him that he's playing with confidence and getting better.
Andres, quick question: Weather Channel, bigger guys get heated up outside, right?
Yeah.
Practice. You have the luxury of practicing indoors too. So with the offensive linemen, some of the bigger guys, how are you cooling down? What are you doing to stay in tip-top shape out there? And what do you prefer? Do you like the heat outside? The baseball guys love the heat. Do you like the indoors more than the outdoors? Talk a little bit about that.
I'd say definitely hydrating, as much as I can, getting electrolytes, and it's just. You said which one do I prefer?
Yeah, which one do you like better?
I like practicing indoors, but just your nutrition, being on your nutrition is key.
We like the indoors too.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Dennis wants you guys to be uncomfortable outside as long as you're not unhealthy. So that's why they've got all the monitoring and the water and the meat truck or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. You use that thing a lot, don't you?
We'll hop in there, once they're in practice, cool down a little bit.
Andres, can you speak just for a second on James Hurst and sort of having played next to Teron Armstead, having played next to James Hurst, kind of what you've learned about him over time?
Yeah, definitely. James, he's a talented player. He's definitely a starter in this league, and he's one of the smartest players that I've played with. So I enjoy playing with him. I feel like we have a good chemistry, and he's done a great job.
Playing next to him, if that was the case this season, you guys have had enough experience next to each other, you feel?
Yeah, I feel like we played some. I'm not sure how many games, but we played some games together, and obviously practice. We played next to each other a bunch. Yep.
Andres, when you look at where y'all at with the running game, obviously all the injuries last season, yourself not being in there, and you ended up being a 28 rushing attack, average 3.7. Have y'all talked amongst yourself that this has to get better? Because when the offense is really rolling, we've always been like top 10 running game.
Yeah, I feel like in the past we've like you said, we've been in the top 10 of the running game. So Coach Marrone has done a good job of working the run game, our technique, and teaching us everything that we need to know. So we're definitely working at it, and we take pride in being able to run the ball and run the ball when we want to.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
JT, how you feel with where you are progressing on the defensive side? Seems like you're getting a lot of reps. I know you probably feel like you're taking advantage of the opportunity because we always look at you as the special teams ace, all pro in that regard. But it seems like you're getting a great opportunity at safety right now with the defense.
I'm feeling pretty good. Being in my playbook, watching more film, taking more time outside of the football field, getting in my 10,000 hours, my mental reps in, so I can be able to go out there and perform and show what I can do.
So how you feel playing alongside, look at the depth with P.J. Williams and y'all communication? You know one another pretty good right now, or what?
Yeah, just being here a couple years, I built that chemistry with P.J. He's a veteran safety, and I got a lot of experience from him, just taking the knowledge in that he's known from the game, and I'm just digesting it in and applying it to the field.
What did you say happened yesterday with you and Trevor Penning? That little thing. What happened with that?
Just two competitive guys going at it, just giving extreme effort and, just going out there and holding the standard of Saints football.
Is that the kind of thing that just happens, or is that a problem?
No, it's just, you got those things that happen. It happens every time, all the time in football. It's just a football thing.
Is there something about Trevor that makes that more likely to happen? You know what I mean? Is there something about him?
He's an aggressive guy. Good old lineman coming in, trying, going to be known, and he's putting his name out there right now.
But you didn't have any problem with anything involved in that?
Oh, no, it's just football. I just take it how it is. Like, we all take it how it is. It's just football.
Hey, JJ, one thing you kind of saying, I know you haven't been around much, but Tyron, just what has it sort of brought to this team?
He brought a lot of experience. He brought Super Bowl experience, and just him him being in his room, it just changed the energy because he has so much knowledge, and the guys just rallying around him just to see what he knows, and to bringing in that Super Bowl experience here is just going to up our level as a secondary.
JT, did you have a vision when you came here that you'd be that dominant on special teams, considering where the fans are like, man, Chris Banjo was doing pretty damn good, and then all of a sudden he's in the car, we bring you in, they even upgraded from what Banjo was able to accomplish in the field?
The mindset is always to be the best. You never want to be average. You always want to come in being the best and reaching perfection. You might not reach perfection because nobody's perfect. You're going to reach excellence on the way. So just working towards that perfection and grabbing that excellence on the way. Just always had that mindset to never give up and keep going and keep pushing.
Did you envision where you'd be in the NFL right now, considering when you had Mississippi State, like what your career, coming to the Saints and being a dominant NFL player?
I had dreams of just making it to the NFL, and once I got here, now I have new dreams, and I'm working towards accomplishing those goals and accomplishing my new dreams, and then I'll have more dreams.
JT, can you talk about the balance between competing with safeties and defensive backs during camp, but also like protecting the deep ball and competing with Olave and Deontay? I mean, as fast as those guys are, how much better can that make you, going up against receivers like that?
Just practicing with those guys, letting us have that practice to the deep threats that we'll see during the season when we can see those each and every day. So they're just given us the time to prepare for the times in the game because we had that speed in the slot on the outside to prepare for the deep balls during the game but in practice, but not just during the games.
And just to follow up, you spoke about Tyrann Mathieu and P.J. Williams. What about Marcus Maye? What kind of stands out to you?
Tough physical guy that's very coachable and bringing experience from New York to here. And he just, we rallying around him too. We have veteran guys, a lot of veteran guys on the team, and we just give and take off of each other.
Just, can you give us a sense of what it was like for you to welcome Tyrann back today? I don't know, even on a personal level, you guys were just a little worried about him because his absence was a little mysterious, and was it a relief to just kind of see him back and see him in good spirits?
Yeah, it's all great to have him in here because we treat everybody in here as family, and we treat everyone as like our own. And so for him to be back in here, it means a lot.
JT, quick weather question. We're at the Weather Channel. Talk about the difference and how much harder the elements make your job when you're playing indoors at home versus, saying, Pittsburgh late in the season or in a rainy game in Baltimore. explain how the elements
Uh,
impact your job?
Later on in the season, it'll be kind of cold, so we'll have to warm up a little bit more. We'll have to stretch out, and because you're not as fast, you're not as quick over there because of because your muscles start to get fatigued a little quicker, and your lungs start to compress a little bit more. So it's just, you know what I'm saying, those are just one of the challenges that's in football that we have to prepare for before it happens.
What about handling, etc., closing speed, all that kind of? Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, closing speed. Your tips get colder than before anything else in your body. So just trying to keep those things warm, getting on the heating pad to keep our bodies ready. So once we get on the field, we'll be ready to go.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Yep. Appreciate you.
out there food-wise?
Food-wise? Barbecue.
Step on it.
Yeah, don't eat it either.
How's it been just, being out here, obviously like putting in work and improving on maybe specific things, but also being out here with Will Lutz again?
Yeah, I mean, everybody saw our field goal percentage last year, and, it's for a couple different reasons, but I think Will, last year was tough for me because I always thought, when I got here, my first year would be with him by my side. And that was tough because, he didn't really have that, steady veteran presence there. And, just to get him back practicing with us and being able to learn from him and kind of just go through different things together has been everything I thought it would be and more. And just so happy to have him back. And you saw it, he's kicking well right now, and I think he's gotten to the point where his body's not his limitation anymore. It's just going to be getting his mental, fortitude back, and that's going to come back pretty quick.
Blake, how much did that experience help you having to go through those nuances with different kickers and trying to learn their tendencies and that kind of thing?
Right, yeah, it's different week to week when you have different guys cycling through. Everyone likes their ball held differently and everything like that. Different personalities, and it made it tougher. I think having, Zach here really helped me out. Someone who's been around for a long time, and Riz and Phil did a great job helping me out too. And I think no one really wants a season like that where you cycle through kickers. I think that's not something we have to worry about this year.
Like, you personally had a lot of success in your debut season. Is there an area when you're looking back on that where you're like, I kind of want to refine this particular part and want that to get better?
Yeah, we do a lot of analytic stuff after the season, and the coaches and I felt like if you look at my hit chart for the season, it kind of looked like you scattered a bunch of M&Ms around the field, and it's really not supposed to look like that. So I need to keep the ball out of the middle of the field a little bit better, and we have such good gunners that if you put the ball outside the numbers, the fair catch percentage goes up dramatically. I think that's the one improvement we can make is limit the returns a little bit more. We should utilize our great players and bang the ball down the field a couple times during the season, but forcing those fair catches outside the numbers is big too. There's some great returns in this league, really athletic, and eliminating them from the game is a big priority this year.
Just having Deontay Hardy as a return man also kind of help you, compete against some of the best returners in the league?
Yeah, I mean, watching him in practice, it kind of gives you a feel for, what those guys like to do, what kind of risks they're going to take. Jonathan's a risk taker, and there's a couple guys around the league that kind of compare to him in that regard. And we scout that stuff like we're prepared for it when it comes up during the season. But he's a great look for us, and obviously we're lucky to have him on our side and not punting him during the season.
Sorry, it's not like focused directly on you, but could you say, like off the top of your head, who some of the best returners in the league are?
Man, obviously Jakeem Grant's really good. I don't know if Tyreek Hill is going to be returning punts this year, but I guess their backup return would be Jalen Waddle, which is kind of a nice 1-2 punch. Not running two returner looks in the NFL usually, but if you had to, that'd be a pretty good pair. But we have, I would say, the best return in the NFL.
Like when you got like an all-pro gunner on one side and then a pretty good one on the other side too, what does that allow you to do? Like, can you actually like kick the ball further than you would normally? Like, is that even something you control?
It's not really something I think about. I'd say it really comes up when you think about directional punting. So JT's gonna draw a double team a lot, just based on his prowess, how good he is, and I'm not afraid to punt to him when he's doubled because he's so good. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. You put three guys out there, you probably beat them all. So that's what you think about when you're thinking about going right or left. Especially we play indoors, so you can really go both ways wherever you are on the field. It's just nice to have that security blanket. You're not going to hit a perfect punt every time. So having him out there is a really big positive. It's definitely not a negative.
Blake, do you still have a relationship with Morstead? Morstead still hanging in there?
Is he hanging in there? Of course he is. Yeah, I'm really happy for him, getting a couple opportunities other places. I never thought in a million years I'd be his successor. But he gave so much to me. And, I sent him texts here and there. But I know he's really focused. I know Will saw him probably 2 weeks ago, right before training camp, and he's bigger than ever. He said he looks really, really good. I think he's in a great spot in Miami. And wish we'd play him this year. But maybe in the Super Bowl.
He's got to have the beach abs ready.
Yeah, he's got me beat on those. I don't wear the tight shirts like he does for a reason.
You're not going for the title like most pull-ups ever by an NFL punter?
No, he's. I was working out yesterday and I looked down at the far dumbbell rack where he used to work out, and I'm still down a little bit.
Like non-X's and O's question with the Weather Channel. You mentioned analytics, which is weather's a massive analytic. You're actually
I want to talk to you a little bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say you're like our prize interview here, so I'm going to go ahead and ask my question.
Perfect.
So preparing for you have perfect conditions indoors for half your season, and then when you're going into a weather-related game that you think the forecast is going to be a little adverse, whether it be wind, rain, snow, what's the prep difference and what's the impact difference in those types of conditions?
It's a great question. There is a little bit of air conditioner draft indoors. It's not very significant though.
Like
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we play a couple games in some tough places this year. We play at Pittsburgh, at Cleveland, at Philadelphia late. So, I try to start preparing for those games in the off season. So if it's not a perfect day outside, I'm not going to shy away from going out hitting some balls. So throughout the season, I try to get some work in the wind. When it gets a little chilly out there, I'll go out there. Even though we're practicing inside usually. But yeah, we keep our eye on the weather throughout the week. Try to almost mentally prepare for that, and don't just show up on game day flying blind. But we do wet ball drill before outdoor games. We had a couple rain games last year. But I'd say I probably pay attention to the weather more than anybody else in this building. I use your app a lot, so I appreciate that.
Come see us when your career's done in football.
Sounds good.
That actually did spark a question. Does the roof get in your head at all? Like, do you have to fight the tendency to kick line drives and just let it happen?
Yeah, we obviously practice in here. I don't know how it's going to be now, a different head coach, but we used to practice in here 85% of the time, 90% of the time. And I honestly don't think about the roof. I consider if I don't hit the roof, it's a bad punt.
Yeah.
So I like to kind of hear that sound indoors. But yeah, in college, we actually had a way lower indoor, and they wanted me to keep it below the ceiling sometimes. And that almost, I felt like it messed me up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you're not trying for that trajectory in a game. So, but you should talk to Mickey about putting some more feet on this roof. Well, it's like $1 million a foot or something like that.
We could make it retractable. I don't think that'd be cheap, wouldn't it?
So, did they want you to keep it low so that there could be a practice return?
Yeah,
or did they
just
not want you to wreck the roof.
Yeah, it's just like it's just for practice. I mean, the roof is a little durable, but like we did 2 days ago, we did going in punts. So if you're indoors, you still have to work that. We're just lucky we got to be outside.
Thomas used to knock out lights this year, but they're different now.
Yeah, they improve the durability of the lights.
You hit them?
Yeah.
And they didn't break?
Dust falls off, but they don't break.
Do you need to see the result of a punt, or
No.
the ones that hit the roof? You know what you did just
I
from
could,
how
I
it
could,
left your foot.
I could probably give you a hang time within 1/10 of a second.
Just right after it left your foot, without seeing it.
Just knowing how loose it is or how tight it is, and kind of how it hits the ceiling.
From a punter and a holder's perspective, how important and crucial a position is long snapper and Zach Wood?
Yeah, I'll give some love to Zach Wood. He's having a great camp. He snapped the ball better than I've ever seen him snap, and it just makes my job that much easier. Especially, I'd say, for holding even more than punting, just because the laces are so important. He can really control the laces, and I'm just there as a safety blanket if they're not on the money, and just how consistent he is. It really gives me a lot of confidence back there. It gives Will a lot of confidence, and he'll be here for a long time.
Has Will gotten you on golf course yet?
He has. Yeah, we try to go out every so often. We have a long break in between practice and meetings in the afternoon, as all the real players are meeting. And we haven't gone golfing in that time yet. We're trying.
He's a good player.
We're trying to get a simulator in here, but
Really?
hasn't worked yet.
You as good as he is?
No. He spends more money on the clubs than I do.
So Thomas used to talk about his punts like in his golf bag.
Yeah,
Do you,
yeah.
Do you do that
Yeah,
same metaphor?
I think about that. You know, I go out there with a plan every time I go out to punt, and I've got different punts in different situations, especially outdoors with wind. Turning the nose in differently, dropping the nose down, angling it differently. So yeah, I consider it like kind of either a toolbox or bag of clubs.
Right, or the driver or the 9-iron.
Yep.
So what club are you working on the most in football?
Right now? You know, I think
metaphorical club.
Yeah, we did a really good job last year in between the 40-yard lines, and statistically it backed it up. I'm just trying to improve a lot from about the 15 to the 35 on our side of the field, mainly directionally.
So getting off the tee, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe a 3-wood from the middle of the fairway.
Okay, sounds good. All right, man.
Perfect. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Blake.
Be your first stop of this training camp?
It's been good. I think it's been a really smooth process. Continue to get better with the guys, grow with the guys, find our identity. I think it's been really good for us. Just keep getting better every day.
What's been the biggest adjustment from college football to that?
I think the focus on technique and just the focus period, film, focus on your body, just getting better every day. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
How bad have guys messed up the Air Force ranking systems? I think I heard somebody trying to call you sergeant the other day.
I feel like they don't even try at this point. They just throw stuff out there. Sergeant major, corporal major, just throwing stuff out there. I just take it. I know whenever they say anything like that, they're talking to me. I got it now. Yeah.
You mentioned trying to find the identity. It's early on in camp, but so far, what is the identity of the St. Petersburg?
Toughness, getting to the ball fast, finishing every play. Trying to get the ball. I think that's something big for us, trying to get the ball back every play, and everybody getting to the ball, pursuit, just being a tough defense.
When you say trying to get after the ball and things like that, are you also talking about trying to
generate turnovers for sure? Every time trying to, yes sir, every time trying to generate turnover, get the ball back for the offense. Yes sir.
Still a lot of pride in the run game.
Absolutely.
For this defensive line, is that different for you, or is that pretty standard across what you also experience at the Air Force Academy?
I think that's pretty standard. I think it's pretty standard with all defenses, honestly, but definitely at the Air Force Academy, we kind of have the same thought, trying to stop the run first, and then when we get a chance to get after the quarterback, as well. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry if you've already addressed this. Do you still have any sort of service commitments?
So the way they're doing it now is they allow me to play football, and as long as I'm playing football, they put me in the ready reserves, which is reserve stats, but it's kind of a different reserve stats. It's kind of hard to explain. And then when I get done playing, I'll go back and I serve my commitment.
Did you talk to Garrett Griffin about this at all?
I did. I talked to Garrett Griffin. I talked to a few guys who are doing it right now. Nolan Laufenberg is doing it with Washington, and just talking to them about how it's going for them and their process. Yes, sir.
Jordan, Weather Channel off X's and O's topic real quick. We asked Chris Olave, he's a rookie, hasn't really thought about hurricane season. You're Air Force thinking about winter weather, but you're from Jacksonville. You have thought about hurricanes. You're in a hurricane-prone area. We're about to hit the heart of the season. How do you react to something like that? And the people of this community that have been so hard hit very recently by Ida.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of interesting. I went to Air Force. When I was in Colorado, I stopped thinking about hurricanes as much. So I really haven't had to think about it in years, 5-6 years now. It's definitely an important time, especially here, somewhere that's been hit multiple times. It's definitely an important time. So, yeah, it's interesting going back and forth. So now I got to lock back in on it coming and how that works. And, yeah, that's really all I can say about that, honestly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How close-knit is this rookie class? Do y'all get to do a lot of stuff together? I know y'all went and got snowballs or something.
Yeah, I think we're really close. It's kind of different now just because training camp, so now it's more of a team thing than rookies, but especially when we first came in for rookie minicamp to OTAs and vet minicamp. We spent a lot of time together, just meetings, going out, doing different things, lunch, dinner, whatever it was, just trying to get close together. And I think we're a pretty close group, honestly.
When you say teammates and other guys are giving you those nicknames, it's just Cam Jordan.
Oh, definitely Cam. Cam, I mean, he just comes up with different stuff every day. He asks me what it is, I tell him, and he still just throws something else out there. So I just take it.
I heard his voice when you were listening.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's Cam. Definitely Cam.
That's it.
Sweet. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Yes, sir.